Welcome, friends, to this afternoon session of our second day of this 3-day event in Newport Beach. Before I ask George to come up with more questions, how many people here know how to speak and understand Punjabi language? A lot of them. The reason I ask this question is, during this lunch break, my daughter sent me an email suggesting that the English language came from Punjabi language. I had never heard that before. And she sent me a list of English words which have already been used several times in Punjabi. Would you like to hear them? Yes. Those not understanding Punjabi, just enjoy the laughter of the others. Okay. We will ask those in this quiz that was done to use English words in Punjabi sentences. First word is what? W-H-A-T. The sentence is, Pinky nu Vicky naal vekh ke pappu de mathe de vat pave. Okay. Second word. No. Not only will the sentence reveal Punjabi language, they'll reveal Punjabi culture also. Okay, second word, kill. K-I-L-L. टीटू ने दीवार से किल ठोक के फोटो टांग देती. Okay. Third word, dig. D-I-G, dig. पैर फिसल जान दे वजह नाल बिट्टू फर्श से डिग गया. Four, my, M-Y. ਅਸੀਂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਈ ਰੱਖ ਲਈ. And finally, one more word, put. P-U-T, put. कल बॉबी ने मेरे वाल पुट ले. I think maybe they are right that the English language came from Punjabi. Sorry, apologize to others who don't understand Punjabi, but this is a little humorous email I received. She sent me some jokes like these, and another friend of mine, he used to send me one joke every day, and he called it Daily Smile. But he had more jokes, and he was very anxious to send more. So he made more than one daily smile, random smiles. So then he would start sending 2 jokes, 3 jokes. Nowadays the average is 10 jokes a day. So you can imagine what a big repertoire I have got of jokes with me. Some people sometimes remind me that why don't you tell jokes in your talks? I said, because when I tell my jokes, they only remember the jokes and not anything else I say. So, it is strange how our brain functions when we go to listen to somebody. We may listen to a lot of things, only a few stick in our mind. I remember my great-grandmother, my grandfather's mother. She was very old. She could not even move from her bed. And our family decided that she should at least have one darshan of Great Master. And we will take her to a discourse, a satsang, by Great Master. We carried her. She couldn't walk. And we requested Great Master that she can't hear too well. Would it be all right if we seated her next to him on the stage? And he agreed. So my great-grandmother sat on the stage next to Great Master and could hear everything clearly. In those days, there were no lavatories, toilets or anything in the dera, and people were asked to go on the left side, ladies had to go to near the river, one side, men went to the right side, ladies went to left side. So at the end of the talk, the great master would say, ladies go to the left side after satsang and men can go to the right side. As usual, the discourse finished and we brought our great-grandmother back home and said, did you like the satsang? She said, wonderful. What did you hear the master say? She said, master said, ladies go the left side. That's all she heard. So I'm only saying that we only listen to what interests us. And that is why when I tell jokes, people remember the jokes. They don't remember what else I said. Sometimes I wonder if that's a good idea to only tell jokes. But some mystics, even some yogis and swamis, have found that if you want to really convey a message, make a joke out of it. One swami, he normally uses this method and conveys his spiritual messages by making it humorous and like a joke. I heard one of his talks. He begins by saying, any Gujaratis here sitting, please? Anybody from Gujarat? 1, 2, okay. There is little reference to Gujaratis in this conversation I'm going to have. So please don't mind and don't get up to say anything after hearing this. Okay. The learned Swami started his talk by saying, once upon a time there was a barber who had good business. He used to cut men's hair, a haircut, and give them shaves. His practice grew. He had more and more customers, and he would thank God Almighty for the good business he was having. But he said, words are not enough. I should do something better to express my gratitude to God. So he decided the first person who ever comes to his shop in the morning will get a free haircut or free shave. So next day, after a decision, a florist who used to sell flowers in that area, he came for a haircut. So he cut the hair and said, Mr. Florist, you are the first person. Out of gratitude to God, I'm not going to charge you anything. Florist was happy. Next morning, there were 12 bouquets of flowers placed outside the shop of that barber with a note. I am happy to learn gratitude to God. These 12 bouquets are given to you as my gratitude to God. After a few days, a baker came. He got a haircut. And the barber said, you are the first one to come today. As my gratitude to God, you don't have to pay for your haircut. He said, thank you. Next morning, there were 12 loaves of bread outside the barber shop with a note. We are very happy to learn that we can express our gratitude to God, and here are a gift to you for that. After a few days, one Gujarati customer, a Gujarati customer came and he got a haircut, first person. After the haircut and shave, the barber said, you are the first person to come here, so I will not charge you anything, as gratitude to God. Gujarati said, that's very good, thank you. Next morning, there were 12 Gujaratis standing outside. They said, we are all first comers. Now, here is a man, here is a Swami trying to introduce an important subject. And he starts with this joke. And then he says, I just took an example of Gujarati because I am a Gujarati. That's why I could take this example. I wouldn't have taken it. It can apply to anybody. He said, the point I was making is, how many of us are takers and not givers? And then he explained what happens when you take and what happens when you give. When you take, you get what you have taken. But when you give, you get something you can't get by taking, called satisfaction in your heart. Satisfaction comes when you give, not when you take. Therefore, he was advising that it's a spiritual life. to give. Give when the giving is yours, as Prophet Khalil said. Give when the giving is yours and not of your inheritors. So giving is a big thing. So that is why it's an important subject he was teaching. But he introduced a joke for that. This is probably a reasonable way to express jokes to people. They enjoy it, they are happy about it. And sometimes I use a joke when the subject becomes too serious. And this is not about spiritual talk. I've given talks in universities on other subjects. I give a talk on economics, I give talks on investments in different areas of the world. Whatever I learned in my college or school, I've been using that to give talks on other subjects. And I sometimes find if the talk is too technical or something, then people have a tendency to go to sleep. There was one professor, he was talking of a serious subject, and he noticed, it's a scientific subject, and he noticed that in the middle, people were nodding and going to sleep. He stopped. When a speaker stops, people wake up. Why did he stop? He said, do you know, I am reminded of a small thing that a little child taught me. People listened. Technical stuff is not being told now, a child story. A child asked me, why are fire engines painted red? Why are fire engines red? And I tried to tell him, red is color of danger. Maybe red is color of blood, that's why it became color of danger. He says, no, uncle, that's not a true answer. I tried some other positive answers. He said, no. I said, then you tell me, why are fire engines red? He said, fire engines are red because fire engines have 4 wheels and 8 men. And 4 and 8 makes 12. And 12 inches makes a ruler. And Queen Elizabeth is a ruler. But Queen Elizabeth is also the largest ship that sails the 7 seas. And seas have fish, and the Finns have fins. And the Finns fought against the Russians. These fire engines are only Russian about, therefore they are red. Everybody was awake. And then the scientist said, that's why I told you the joke, because you lost your attention in my subject. But when I tell a little story, everybody is awake. So this is not something new. That we also, the other thing is that when we hear a conversation, we don't hear the whole conversation. We pick up some of it. And when we pick up that which we think we were coming to listen to. We have questions in our mind. We have some anticipation in our mind. We go to get a good feeling. It's almost like we have a taste developed for certain things, and when we hear something about what we are interested in, for which we have a taste, that's why we like to hear that. We don't hear everything. Sigmund Freud, a German scholar, German psychologist, who, great psychiatry came after him, psychologist. He has explained that taste does not come from what you get. Taste is there before you get something. That's very new. He says, supposing you want to meet somebody and you feel very happy to meet somebody, it's not because you meet that person, the happiness is anticipated in advance. When you eat a good dish, it's going to be tasty. It is tasty because of your anticipation. He calls it, in old Germanic language, eine Verlockungsprämie. Eine Verlockungsprämie. That pleasure or joy of a taste that comes prior to the actual event, it's an anticipatory place. And Freud explains that we have plates, moving plates in our brain of anticipation. We are constantly anticipating something. And they keep on changing and moving. And those moving plates create an anticipation of something, and that anticipation is responsible for taste. And that is why we already have some expectations. anticipations in our head. When we go listen to a talk, we are hearing that which satisfies those anticipations. So that is why the same people don't hear the same thing. You can have 50 people collected, give one talk, and ask them what you heard. They'll give different accounts of it. And some people hear the same thing, read the same book twice, second time it means more than they read first time. So this is because this anticipation is built in. Seeking is very much like that. When we are seeking the truth of our own self, this anticipation is very strong. That is why we are able to pick up a lot of things, and we like that particular talk. We don't like the whole talk. We like the talk that answers our seeking. And when it makes sense to us, we say, that is it. People say, can we ask you a question? You know, if I were an attorney, lawyer, somebody said, can I ask you 2 questions? I will say, what is the second? That's what they charge for per question, you know. When somebody says, can I ask you a question? I say yes. Why? I know the answer is right with that person. When I give an answer, person says, yes, right. How does the person know it's right if it wasn't there already? If I gave a stupid answer, person says no. That means not my answer that's affecting that person, but my vocalization, my putting it into words, an answer that was already there in the mind of that person. When I studied long ago what causes questions and answers, I discovered the questions come from answers hidden in our head. Answers are hidden, therefore we ask questions. If the answer was not hidden, we couldn't ask a question. So that is why when we get the answer, we say it makes sense. Yes, we understand. The understanding is matching of what we heard with what we already know. Why is that? Because in our consciousness, we have all the knowledge intact already. And some of it comes through different layers, and when we hear an answer to our question, it appeals to us because it matches what is already there. If you can do meditation regularly and place your attention inside, you will be surprised that questions you are asking outside are being answered by you yourself inside. All the answers are inside you, of every question you can conceive. But we can't hear them inside because our attention is outside. Therefore, when we hear the same answer that we could hear inside, when we hear it from outside, we feel, yes, that's right. That's what it is. It just matches the answer already inside. That's another peripheral benefit of meditation. And anyway, I'm taking you into different subjects, but right now I'd like to take up some more questions that you have sent me, and the answers are already with you, but I'll repeat them. George is coming with his questions.
If you are already initiated by a perfect master, but feel a very strong pull towards another perfect master, what does it mean? Can that perfect person be initiated by the second perfect master? In that case, whose radiant form is seen inside? Is the second radiant form also implanted in the third eye center?
If you are already initiated by a perfect master, but feel a very strong pull towards another perfect master, what does it mean? Can that person be initiated by the second perfect master? In that case, whose radiant form is seen inside? Is the second radiant form also implanted in the third eye center? It's a good question. I had mentioned earlier that masters come into our life according to the level of our seeking. Those who seek to go to heaven, find masters who have themselves reached heaven, that means they have reached the astral stage. Those who seek the cause and origin of this whole universe, where is the universal mind creating everything, they find masters who take them to the causal stage. And they satisfy those disciples. Those who seek the causal stage but find a master who takes them to astral stage, they're happy. They've taken the right direction. But when they reach the astral stage, they feel there's still something more to come. In that case, another master appears in their life. Sometimes same life, sometimes next life. But another master appears who takes them to the next stage. You can have a series of masters taking you from stage to stage, depending upon what your seeking was, what you have been able to achieve, and what your goal is, what your seeking is leading to. So if one feels that one is not sufficiently pulled by a master, wants to have more, another master will appear. And the second master can initiate you, because then that is the master who will be with you forever. The last master, the last perfect living master, is the master you will always see, and when you never come back to physical plane, that last master remains with you forever. Masters, perfect living masters, come with the same awareness. They come from the awareness of oneness. Their awareness and power is coming from the same source, one. They are not different. From that point of view, they are all coming from same source, carrying the same source. Somebody asked me, Great Master, do you think he reached the ultimate? I said, yes, I think he did. Do you think he will come back again? Some people say he's coming back again. Or some other masters are coming back again. Will he come back again? I said, do you mean Sawan Singh coming back again, or do you mean the master? Oh, I mean master. If you want the master, every master who will come is the same. Because every master is coming from the same oneness. You can't say that he's coming as one master. He's reached that point from where every master comes. Therefore, the awareness of that oneness makes all masters the same. So it does not matter at all. Sometimes it's a seeker who is seeking something at a certain point, does not have the time to go beyond that, and the next master comes. I mentioned how masters come for marked souls. I also mentioned many souls get marked for other masters. Those masters come later. I also said that if a master initiates you, you are a marked soul, initiated. But depending on the package of karma you carry, you can have a second life, or third, or fourth. The same master is not going to appear in the same physical body, but the master will appear. From the point of view of his source, same master. From the point of view of appearance, different person. Therefore, the last master who initiates you, after which you never come back here, is the one who stays with you ever. So it can happen that you can be initiated by more than one master. People have come to me for great master's initiation. I don't claim to be a master. I say I am doing my service to my master. If you want great master's initiation, just because you cannot see him, he is dead in his physical body, therefore you see me. But otherwise, the power is entirely of great master. When I initiate you with the great master's power, it's the same power. Therefore, when you get that initiation, if this is your last life, then this is your master, whom you will see. Whoever you are seeing now will be seen by you forever. So that is why it's not unusual. People have come to me. More than one person has come and said, I have been initiated by 5 masters before. I said, after me, when will the 6th come or 7th come? They said, no, this is final. If I can't help somebody to go to where the seeking is, if great master through me cannot help people, they will find another master. It's normal. It's a normal thing. And if they feel this is final, then this final impression of a master stays. Eventually you find that the power that makes a human being into a master and perform this function, same power, no difference. coming from the oneness of all consciousness. Totality of consciousness, the oneness creates the power by which a human being can function like a master. So, to answer the question briefly, yes. If you are pulled by a master, especially if your master has passed away, you're pulled by a master, that could be your last master. You could be reinitiated again. But if you are still pulled by the former master and he died, and you're looking for one who has no pull for you, stick with the one who's passed away. He's passed away physical body, but is still there for you in this body. So that is why it depends on the pull you get, of the pull of unconditional love. That pull determines a lot. A friend of mine wrote to me, I want to know how to find the two masters in my life now. And I don't know which one to follow. I gave a simple answer. Whoever pulls you more with his love is your master. He said, both pull me equally. I said, very lucky man, people can't find one, you found two. Follow any one of them. So these are only physical phenomena that we are looking at here. Masters are not operating for the physical phenomena. They are taking us out of this place. And therefore, this is from the master's point of view, it's a very minor thing who the master is. Biggest thing is that you have made arrangement to go back to your true home, and a human being is appearing to take you back home with the awareness of your home. That's the main thing. It doesn't matter really. It doesn't matter how many masters you have come in your life. The one that pulls you with unconditional love and the final master after which you never come back again is the master who will be with you right till your true home.
Hi, my love, Master. Like to know how long you'll be in this physical life with me. I don't want to live without you.
Hi, my love, Master. Hi, my beloved. Like to know how long you'll be in this physical life with me. I don't want to live without you. If you have received initiation from me, great master initiation from me, I'll be with you forever. Will never leave you.
Dear Ishwar Ji, yesterday you spoke about full knowledge leading to happiness and fearlessness. Till we get to that final stage, how do we conduct ourselves?
Yesterday you spoke about full knowledge leading to happiness and fearlessness. Till we get to that final stage, how do we conduct ourselves? Conduct yourself happily and with fearlessness. You don't have to wait for that. Become fearless. I can tell you one little hint. If you can resolve your doubts, you'll become fearless. Most of the fear we have in this world is coming from our doubts. And we have uncertainty and doubt and fear arises. When you are certain, then fear disappears. It's a very great state to be in a state of happiness and without doubt, clarity and fearlessness. And that's the reward for following the spiritual path, provided we do our homework a little bit. I have noticed that most of us don't do our homework. Homework is meditate regularly, and somehow the mind is able to convince us we have plenty of time for that. We don't follow this simple instruction. Other instructions are easy to follow. People say, Master said be vegetarian. I am on vegetable diet, but I get nothing. I said something harsh to him. I said, I am very angry that you don't follow Master Men. He got more angry. I got more angry with him. He said, why are we exchanging this anger? I said, giving you an example, vegetarian food did nothing. It's not a question of a diet or something. As I explained, diet is merely a means of conducting your meditation better, means of making it more effective, because your power of concentration is affected by diet. It's not only affected by diet, it's also affected by a lot of other things. If you have a fight in the house in the evening and sit in meditation at night, you can never meditate. You have a problem that's bothering you a lot, you meditate, you can't meditate. It's not merely one factor, there's several factors that interfere with good meditation, and it is just one of them. But to follow just one diet and say, I have found enlightenment, is a big mistake. I went to Japan and met a Zen group. Zen group, they told me, the particular group told me, that they have secret diet that you can eat and get enlightened. I said, is it a physical diet or Zen diet? They said, no, it's a physical. What is it? It's a special Japanese rice, a special grain of rice. If you eat that rice, you get enlightened. I ate plenty of it, lost all my enlightenment what I had. I said, it doesn't work for me. This diet is not working. And how are you saying that the diet works? He said, this is the Zen way of explaining enlightenment. Now, I had not studied too much of the Zen philosophy. I can tell you an interesting story of mine, where I first learned about Zen philosophy. I don't know if we have time for that. Your permission?
Yes.
I'll pause from the question and tell a Zen story.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. In the early on when I came to this country, I don't know what I looked like, what I was at a very young time, long ago back. But somehow people thought that I knew a lot more than I actually knew. They thought I was also an astrologer. I could predict things. I could tell things what will happen in 4000 AD, so I could tell what will happen tomorrow. I had no idea about it. But they thought so. I don't know how that impression was created. They told me, one of the friends in Minneapolis, Minnesota, invited me to meet psychics. They thought I was a psychic. So meet a group of psychics. They want to ask you questions. You come from India, it's an Eastern psychic knowledge you will bring, and those are all Western psychics. So there were about 10 or 15 of them, and sitting around a table, square table. And I was sitting at the head of the table. Very funny faces they had. Long beards, weird eyes. I don't know what they were drinking or taking. But I could see they would look very funny. And there was one boy, he had a round face, younger one. And he sat in the second row. Most of them were able to find chairs on the first row. This boy had to sit on the second row. They asked me questions. Is there a correlation between astrology and palmistry? Is there any correlation with numbers, numerology? All kinds of stuff. And I had received one library from a great philosopher who had sent me books on these subjects. So I had read some of them. So I answered as quickly as I could from whatever I remembered from the books about numerology, psychology, astrology, whatnot. After this round was going on, this boy, whose name I later found was Scotty. Scotty was a well-known guy who could locate things. That if somebody was missing, a person was missing, he could say where the person is missing. If some car was stolen, he could say where police was using his services. It surprised me that police was using his psychic services to discover missing things. And people respected him, but he came a little late, so he was the second row. As we were going through, he smiled at me and said, "Tell me what you have come to say. Give me the message, tell me." I had no message. I said, what can I say? So I turned my chair a little this side. and began to talk to the people this side. He picked up his chair and came to the other side. Tell me what you have to tell me. I turned the other way. He got very annoyed with me. And he told the host was Bob Parker, I remember. He told the host who had arranged this meeting, the host himself was kind of a psychic and astrologer. He told the host, this man is ignoring me. He's answering everybody's questions except mine. And why is he doing this to me? The host said, don't worry, tomorrow I have arranged interviews for different people. The host said, I have a half an hour slot to talk to this man. I'll give my slot to you. You can ask your question then. So, host told me, you know that Scotty? And explained to me how important he is, he can find missing people. Scotty is going to see you tomorrow in my place. I said, oh my God, same guy. I was turning my chair around and he's going to spend half an hour with me. What am I going to do? Anyway, I said I have to find a strategy to deal with the situation. And fortunately, a strategy came to my mind. Strategy came because there was one customs officer in India, and he had the same last name as I. His name was Harbhajan Singh Puri. They called him Bhaji, but he got into spiritual discipline, became a yogi. They call him Yogi Bhajan. Yogi Bhajan came from India and settled in Canada for a while. Then he came to California and he set up his own Californian White House where he lived. In his White House, everything was white. All his followers wore white clothes and white turbans. Girls and boys, they both wore white clothes, white turbans. And he made them vegetarian. Big following. Nearly 250,000 children joined his group, which he called 3HO, Happiness, Health, or something like that. He was knowing me from India. When he found I am here, he invited me to come and stay with him. I went and he gave his whole White House to me and my wife, and he moved into a small little chamber he had for meditation. He said, you live here, we'll take care of you. I felt pampered and I felt good. I said everything was white, carpets were white, furniture was white, walls were white, people walking about, their headdress was white, rest dress was white, only head seemed to be moving around. It's quite an experience. Real White House. Anyway, this yogi said to me, I am going to give interviews to people this afternoon. You sit with me. I said, all right. I said, is it private interviews or just general talk? Well, it's supposed to be private interview, with nothing private from you. So you sit with me while I interview them. I said, all right. I reached a little late, so the next person had not been called for interview. So he said, have some cup of tea. I said, all right. We are both sitting on a sofa. And the next person called, middle-aged lady came. And he said, come on, dear, darling, come and sit with us. This is Mr. Ishwar Puri. You may not have seen him before. He's a good friend of mine. Come and sit here. Very nicely, so kindly, he spoke to her and said, do you have a cup of tea? So we were all three of us having a cup of tea. And then he says, interview begins. Sit on the floor. So the lady got up and sat on the floor. And he began to abuse her in the most vulgar language I've heard. I couldn't believe it. He called her by all kinds of names, starting with A, B, C, D, F, or whatever. And even he used Punjabi language in the middle, which he didn't know anything about. I was shocked. I was completely shocked. This is the kind of interview he's having? She couldn't speak. It looked like she was frightened by what was happening, scared. And I am sitting there. I said, Yogi ji, I want to leave. No, sit here. I was as afraid as she was. He would let me get up. And I am witness to this scene. And I said, this lady is going to spread a very bad word about this yogi. That this is how he talks. I can't imagine this. Well, interviews broke up and we went out for lunch. And he had arranged an open-air lunch with the table and a lot of people were there. So I saw that lady there at lunch. I walked up to her. I said, I'm extremely sorry that I saw that horrible scene of Yogi ji shouting and using bad words to you. I didn't like it at all. And I'm sorry. I wanted to get away. It should be private between you and Yogi ji. He forced me to sit here. I apologize. She says, what apology? Yogi spoke the truth. He's the only one who could speak the truth. He told me the truth. Not many yogis will do that. I was surprised. She appreciated that. She appreciated the yogi shouting. I said, what kind of culture have I come into? I didn't realize that shouting can be good also. Why I have told you this story? Because this was the strategy I discovered to deal with Scotty. I said, I am going to shout at him. And let's see what happens. But I said he might attack me. So I told my host, please place a big table, wide table in front. I should be on this side. Put a sofa far away on that side for Scotty to come. So Scotty came with the same smile. I still remember his round face. Same smile, he sat down. And I had rehearsed my shout. I said, what kind of psychic are you that you couldn't even wait for this time to hear my reply? Didn't you know this is the right time when I was to tell you what my message is? He is surprised I can talk like this. I said, here is the message. Just 3 words. Don't destroy yourself. He shook like this. I said, it's working. So I increased my voice. Don't destroy yourself. He shook even more. I said, it's working. I said, 3rd time, even louder. Don't destroy yourself. And he fell from the sofa down. He said, thank you, and walked out. I said, I don't know if I succeeded or not. But definitely he couldn't smile after that He went straight to Bob Parker, my host, and said, this man is a true psychic. He knows everything. Now this is Scotty telling him. He says, he told me the truth. He said that I am destroying myself by taking drugs. He knew I'm taking drugs. That's why he told me that drugs are destroying me. The moment he said, I knew what he meant. He again said, when he found out I was also in some women's orgy group or something, not doing the right thing, and I was destroying myself. When he said 3rd time, I realized he was telling me not to be even psychic, even that is destroying me. He's the only psychic who can really know everything. And my host said, you gave him right answers? I was surprised. I said, where has this come from? It's a true story. He gave up psychic work completely. Yet he was the man who could find people. So I'm telling you a very interesting experience of mine in this country. There was another astrologer. What was her name, Diane, who wrote those books? Huh? Linda Goodman. She wrote books on astrology. Love Science and Sun Science, the title of her books. Very good astrologer. Very good in reading charts. And the books are good. And she was still writing a 3rd book. Her daughter was missing. And she had tried to find some psychic who could point out where the daughter is. Scotty was also hired for that. And Scotty could not locate the daughter. Scotty called that lady. I found the psychic who could locate your daughter. His name is Ishwar Puri. Now imagine my state. This is my very early visits into this country. I didn't know much how to handle people and how to do things. This just all happened accidentally. Now they say, you have to find the missing daughter of an astrologer who casts very good horoscopes, who has the capacity to produce charts which can give you a whole history of your life. And she is very good at that. And yet she can't find her own daughter. She went with the daughter to New York. In New York, daughter disappeared and never found. The police traced the daughter from dental records and so on, that she drowned. She drowned in the river there. This girl, Linda Goodman, didn't believe it, because she had her chart which said the daughter will disappear and after so many years will reappear. If she's already dead, she can't reappear. So she didn't believe the police story at all. She said, she is somewhere, she is hiding somewhere, we have to find her. She tried many ways. She was a rich woman. She tried many methods to locate her daughter but couldn't find her. Then she heard of this super psychic, Ishwar Puri from India, the guy who knows nothing about psychic. And all these people asked me, you have to help her. All the psychics asked me, you have to help her. I said, look, I have a little problem. She is in Denver, and she is asking me that she is flying to New York for a TV program, the Wolf Show or some show. She was appearing in a TV program next day. I was supposed to go to California, come to California and go back home by the Pacific. So she said, please bring him, no matter how. Charter a plane, bring him over here to this particular hotel where I'll be staying. I want to see him and ask about my daughter. I said, you see, I come from a state in India called Punjab. And we Punjabis have a very strong notion that we never go backwards. We always go forwards. I've already come from New York to Chicago I have to go to California. Can't go back. Sorry. I was trying to get out of the situation. How can I find a daughter if all these Scotties could not find, who were known to be able to find, they could not find, and I know nothing about this. How can I find? So she said, if he is so keen, now this is very strange. I said, I do not go backwards at all. I'm going to California and back to India. She said, charter a plane. Now this is Linda Goodman saying, charter a plane. Go around the globe. Bring him to New York. I was so shocked at how serious she was about it. I said, looks like no escape. I should find another strategy. I said, it's not necessary to go around the globe. If you really want me to come, I can make a circular route within the country. From Minneapolis, I take a plane south to Orlando, and from Orlando, I take a plane up to New York. I can see her. I said, Orlando has Disney World, you know. I love to see Disney World. I think there's some child in me that hasn't grown up yet. So they arranged that immediately. I laid down 3 conditions before I can see her. First, I'll go by this strange route to see her. Secondly, I'll stay in a hotel. If the same hotel, the suite where I will stay should cost more than the suite which she is paying for. I want to enhance my status so that I can do that. It should be a fairly equal playing field. And I said, third, I will set the time when I will see her. She can't call me anytime she likes. So just to assert, now they accept me as somebody big psychic, I should lay down my conditions. That was strategy, by the way. I went to Orlando, had a good day in Disney World. Many nice rides. And then I went to New York. They received me at the airport, took me to a very nice, fancy private hotel. And she was paying $300 to her the suite in those days, which is very good. And I got a better suite, $310. My suite contained several bedrooms and a lot of stuff. And I said, wow, first time I'm staying in a place like that. I should enjoy one shower in one bathroom, one shower in another. What else can I do? Anyway, I told her, I will meet you at 3:28 p.m. this afternoon. I could have said 3:30. Wouldn't have looked psychic. Wouldn't have looked astrological. I said, I will see you at 3:28 p.m. this afternoon. And she had a suite with an anteroom where we were meeting. At 3:28, I went to the anteroom, the larger room in front of her suite, and found 8 people sitting there, all psychics. She had invited them to listen to me how I am going to tell about her missing daughter. I was a little shocked that I thought she's having a private interview with me. And she's gathered these people, all with their open books. I said, what are those books? They were journals or whatever they are calling, where they can see what is the position of the stars at 3:28 p.m. and why I've given that time. They were studying the almanacs, whatever they call them. And they were saying, why did he give this time? There has to be something in it. So while they were studying that, I said to Linda Goodman, I said, you know, when I give an interview, it's one-on-one, never in a crowd like this. These people have to leave before I can tell you anything. She said, but I have invited them to listen to you. I said, then we'll interview cancelled. And I got up. No, please sit down. That was a good move, by the way. And she said, okay, you leave. They said, but Linda, you invited us. We have come specially all the distance to listen to this gentleman. How do you say leave now? I said, if they don't leave, I leave. So she persuaded them leave. One hefty guy was sitting in a corner, little hefty, looked strong. And he said, I am not leaving. I am not an astrologer. I am not a psychic. I am a detective. I am a secret service man. And she has hired me for her protection. And I will not leave because I suspect that you have come for foul play. Otherwise, you won't ask everybody to leave. And I will not leave. His name was Philip. I still remember. She said, Philip, leave. He said, Linda, you're taking a big risk. An unknown man coming from India somewhere, we don't know who he is. We have no idea at all. And he wants everybody to leave. He can strangle you. He's a young guy, and you taking a risk. You are an elderly lady. I don't know what his motive is to come here. I said, Philip is right, I'll leave. I got up again. Good move. She said, Philip, you have to go. So Philip said, you are taking a risk. It is your responsibility. But Philip got up and left. And she went and closed the door, came back. I said, Linda, Philip is standing outside the door. Please ask him to go upstairs. I have worked in government myself. I know these police officers will never go anywhere. So it was a good guess. She went and opened the door. He was standing there. She said to him, he knows everything. I said, my work is done. She told Philip, go upstairs. And Philip said, okay. So she closed the door, came back. Then she served me tea. Very nice china, very beautiful cups and very nice cookies she had. She said, these are egg-free vegetarian cookies for you. I specially got for you. I said, thank you very much. She says, you know about my problem. You've heard from Scotty, you heard from Bob Parker. And she was explaining her problem. She says, my daughter is missing. And the police say she must have killed herself or somebody pushed her. We can't find. We found the remains in the water. That's what the police is telling me. My charts are right here. And my charts are saying she will be missing at this time and come back. Then she said, oh my God, she could come back by reincarnation. Why am I thinking she has to come? These are her words. Why am I thinking that she has to come back in the same body? She can be reborn and come back. And I said, True story. She said, let's calculate. Let's calculate then. Does the chart match with when she can come back? And she calculated in these so many years, she will be back according to her charts. I said, She said, you come all these thousands of miles just to say to me? And I said, Interview finished. She said, thank you very much. That's all I said. I said, call your people back. All those 8 psychics came back. What did he say? She said, he gave me the correct answer. I had not spoken any word. 3, And she got the answer. I'm explaining something. Those people, when they asked me questions afterwards, they said, is there a relationship between numerology and astrology? I said, this tablecloth looks very pretty. They wondered. The second person said, do the lines on the palm correspond with the birth lines that we find in the horoscope chart? I said, the border on this tablecloth is very good. And one man shouted, he is using Zen method. First time I heard of his Zen method. All the story I have told you just to come to this point. That is how I learnt about Zen method. And I'm glad you like the story. It's a true story, and it's always made me wonder how I spoke no words and she got the answers. But something else happened. After this meeting was finished, and they had asked those questions that I used my Zen method, which means I knew nothing, but they made sense of it. After that, she said, before I left to come back to California from there, she said, I have a book I'm still writing. The manuscript is almost ready. It's a big book, 300 pages already of typed manuscript. I know you already know it, but I want you to read, for my sake, a paragraph that I wrote in that book. And I said, okay, show me the paragraph. So she pulled out a lot of bundle of typed pages of her manuscript of the third book, and she opened page 256. At least my memory is good, remember the number, 256, and she says, read this paragraph. She had written long earlier, much earlier, and the paragraph read, and one day the wise man come from the east, and he will use no words but give you the answers. Then I realized how she accepted the so quickly, because she had written that paragraph herself in a book. This can happen. Now, all I'm telling you is how our mind has everything in it. Everything is there. So when the time comes, answers just flow out. You do meditation regularly, and you will find all the answers will come from inside. All answers are already inside you. There's nothing outside. Outside is a poor reflection of what is inside you. Go in and check it out. This is not a theoretical model, something I'm setting up. I am saying practice it, verify it, validate it yourself personally. No blind faith, no acceptance of anybody's word, except your own experience, except your own validation. Any more questions?
Yes. 4:15.
Okay, I spent my whole time in telling you my story. But I'm glad with your laughter you confirmed you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. And those who have to have personal time with me, I'll see them right now.